South Korean passports have been ranked the second most powerful in the world, allowing holders visa-free entry to 193 global destinations.
한국 여권이 세계 여권 지수에서 2위를 차지해 총 193개국의 무비자로 입국이 가능한 것으로 나타났습니다. So if you have a South Korean passport, you have the second most powerful passport in the world.
Exactly. And we have taken pride in having a very strong passport.
Yes.
And it stands at 193 countries that allow us visa-free entry to these different countries. It's actually tied with Finland and Sweden. But if you think about it, if we only add one more country to that list, we will be tied with number one.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So if we actually add one more country to a visa-free entry list, then we will be among the 6 countries, Japan, Singapore, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, which are currently tied for first place with 194 countries.
가장 파워풀한 여권은 이제 194개국을 무비자로 갈 수 있는데요. 총 6개의 나라가 공동 1위를 했습니다. Japan, Singapore, France, Germany, Italy, Spain. 그 다음으로 이제 공동 2위는 우리나라와 Finland, 그리고 Sweden.
Yes.
뭐 비슷해요.
That's
이제
right.
여기는 이제 193개국을 무비자로 갈 수 있는 것이죠. We've always ranked quite high on this list, haven't we?
Exactly.
As of late.
As of late.
Yeah.
And Koreans have always been able to go to many different countries, especially the ones for tourism, also for business, without a visa.
All right, well, this is our first expression, the second most powerful.
That's right. So it means that among the most powerful top list of countries or a top list of things, it's the second. It's ranked second.
두 번째로 가장 강력하다라는 뜻이죠. 자, 그 다음에는 visa-free entry.
Yes, and visa-free is used as one word with a hyphen in between the two different words, visa and free, meaning that you don't need a separate or additional visa in order to go to that country. If you think back during those times when you needed to go to a certain embassy to apply for a visa, wait until you get confirmation for the visa and then get the documents, print them out, and then go to the airport. Wow, that took such a long time, and it makes me feel so old because I used to wait for that process to get into the United States even.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
That's right.
Yes.
자, 무비자 입국을요, visa-free entry라고 합니다. 이게 무슨 free 하면은 뭐가 필요 없다는 뜻으로 아니면 뭐가 없다는 의미인데요. 우리가 예를 들자면은 sugar-free 음료 요즘에 정말 많이들 드시죠.
Very important.
탄산음료에 이거 정말 많이 붙어 있잖아요. 그러니까 뭐 no sugar라고 써 있기도 하지만 영어식으로 말하자면 sugar-free. 설탕이 없다, 무당이다 이런 뜻으로 쓰기도 하고 여기서 이제 visa free니까 비자가 필요하지 않은 그런 입국 절차를 얘기하고 있습니다.
There is a drawback to this, however. I was on business to one of the countries that actually needed a visa, and I had no idea.
Because you're so used to just going in, yeah.
And so I kind of found out at the last minute, and I had to apply
Which
for
country
it.
was that?
It was India.
I see. It's really interesting.
Yes, and so I applied for a fast-track process.
그래요. visa-free entry, 무비자 입국. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. South Korean passports have been ranked the second most powerful in the world, allowing holders visa-free entry to 193 global destinations. Now let's move on to the second headline.
The number of people aged 60 and over employed in the manufacturing industry reached nearly 600,000 last year, surpassing those in their 20s for the first time.
지난해 제조업 취업자 중 60세 이상 노년층 인구 비율이 60만 명에 육박하면서 처음으로 청년층을 넘어섰습니다.
Yes.
사실 이 표현부터 좀 우리가 바꿔야 되지 않겠어요? 노년층이라고 예전에 말하면은
That's right.
일하지 않는 것 같은 이미지가 있지만
Yeah.
지금 활발하게 일을 하고 있는 60대 인구를 얘기하고 있고 20대보다도
Yeah.
이번에 제조업 같은 경우에는 더 많았습니다.
60 is the new 40.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us more.
So it was statistics released by Statistics Korea. And in fact, it does add to these heightened concerns over the aging workforce about the entire country. That Korea's entire labor market, it actually struggles with low birth rates as well as a rapidly dwindling population. The data did show that employees aged 60 or older came up to a total of 599,000 in the manufacturing sector in 2023, and this was an increase of 51,000 from a year earlier. And of course, compared to the ones in the 20s, so those aged from 15 to 20 slid by 33,000 year on year to 555,000.
Oh, I see.
But this is the manufacturing
Right,
sector,
of
which
course.
generally tends to have more of the older population compared to those in the 20s.
But still though.
Yeah, that's right.
그래요. 그러니까 이제 작년 데이터를 쭉 보게 되면은 60대 제조업에서 종사하시는 분들의 숫자가요. 59만 9천 명이었다고 합니다. 60만 명 조금 안 되는 수치였는데 이게 한 5만 명 이상 늘어난 것이었습니다. 전해에 비해서. 그런데 이제 15 to 20 같은 경우에는 이제 청년층은 상대적으로 한 3만 명 이상 줄어들어 가지고 55만 5천 명이었다고 해요.
That's right.
자, 제조업 우리가 계속 얘기를 했어요.
That's right.
영어로는
Manufacturing industry. So a manufacturing industry is an industry where you have products that are made from raw materials using manual labor or with machinery and assembly lines.
Right. Manufacturing 아니면 manufacturing sector라고 할 수도 있고요. 아니면 industry 다 가능한데요. 제조업을 말합니다. 자, 그리고 이제 surpass.
Yes. Surpassing means that you are exceeding something or you are going over a certain limit or a certain gauge.
뛰어넘는다는 의미가 있어서요. Those in their 60s have actually surpassed those in their 20s라고 얘기를 했죠. 그래서 능가하다라는 의미가 되겠습니다. Here it is again. The number of people aged 60 and over employed in the manufacturing industry reached nearly 600,000 last year, surpassing those in their 20s for the first time.
Taiwan's pro-sovereignty Democratic Progressive Party has secured a third consecutive term in power, a result that experts say is likely to stoke further tensions with Beijing.
대만 총통 선거에서 독립 성향의 민주진보당이 3연속 집권에 성공하자 이에 따라 대만과 중국 사이의 긴장은 더욱 고조될 것으로 전문가들은 진단했습니다. Okay, so we're looking at a pro-sovereignty leader, a
Yes.
pro-sovereignty party, of course, behind the leader. Tell us more.
So Lai Jingde, aka William Lai, is Taiwan's current vice president, and he declared victory on Saturday evening, while the two opposition rivals both conceded defeat. And of course, as expected, this move angered Beijing, and they issued a statement after the results insisting that, quote, Taiwan is part of China. And Beijing has called for a so-called peaceful reunification, but it has also not ruled out the use of force.
그러니까 여기서 말하는 이제 그 pro-sovereignty leader, pro-sovereignty party라고
Yes.
얘기할 때 그 중국은 사실 계속해서 타이완이 reunification을
Yeah.
통해서 중국과 한 나라가 돼야 된다. 뭐 지금도 한 나라다 이렇게 주장을 하고 있지만 대만에서 특히 pro-sovereignty 입장인 정치인들은 그 정반대인 거죠. 그래서 독립 성향이 있다 이렇게 해석을 했는데 그러한 이제 새로운 리더가 총통이 이번에 그 선출이 됐습니다. 이름은 라이칭더가 되겠고요. 중국이 지금 이에 대한 불만이 뭐 가득하죠.
Oh, yes, definitely. And what they have mentioned is that China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said no matter whatever changes take place in Taiwan, the basic fact that there is only one China in the world and Taiwan is part of China will not change.
미국의 입장도 우리가 앞으로 좀 더 살펴봐야겠지만 바이든 대통령도 사실 입장을 어느 정도 밝혔습니다.
That's right.
이번 결과가 나오고 나서 사실 어느 편도 아니다.
Yeah.
약간 이런 중립을
Neutral.
네, 그래서 뭐 이렇게 뭐 독립을 지지하는 것도 아니고
Yeah.
네, 그렇다라는 입장을 보이기는 했습니다. 자, 한번 표현을 볼게요.
Yes.
secure라는 동사가 있습니다.
That's
What does it
right.
mean in this case?
If you secure something, you are fixing or firmly fixing something so that it can't be moved.
그렇죠. 그러니까 여기서 말하는 secure라는 것은 뭔가 확보한다는 뜻이 있는데요. The party, DPP, 여기서 이제 민진당이라는 이 당이 그 secure a position이라고 했습니다. 아니면 secure power, 다시 집권하는 그 권력을 확보했다.
Yes.
그러니까 다시 재집권했다라는 의미로 보시면 되겠고요. And this is stoking further tensions with China.
Yes, if you stoke something, it's a verb to encourage or incite or promote a very strong emotion.
그래요. stoke something이라고 하면 사실 저는 이제 캠프파이어에서 불 지피는 거 좀 생각하게 되거든요.
yes.
stoking a fire.
Yes.
그것도 이제 불을 지핀다 이렇게 표현을 영어로는 stoking a fire라고 하는데요. 뭔가 부추길 때 씁니다. 그래서
So, a strong emotion like a fire.
Yeah, exactly. 중국의 이 안 좋은 감정을 더욱더 부추기는 셈이 됐다.
That's
이렇게
right.
보시면 되겠습니다.
Yes.
로이터스 통신에 보면은 Biden says the US does not support Taiwan independence 이런 헤드라인이 이제 어제부터 계속해서 쭉 나오고 있어요. 그러니까 이 결과를 보고 사실 대만의 독립을 지지하지는 않는다. 이렇게 입장을 함으로 인해서 중국과의 관계도 어느 정도 좀 원활하게 가고자 한다라는 미국의 입장이 보이네요. 자, 다시 한번 제가 헤드라인 읽어보겠습니다. Taiwan's pro-sovereignty Democratic Progressive Party has secured a third consecutive term in power, a result that experts say is likely to stoke further tensions with Beijing. 자, 다음 헤드라인 가보겠습니다.
A volcano erupted on a remote island in southwestern Japan early Sunday, prompting the government to issue a level 3 volcanic alert, restricting the entrance to dangerous areas surrounding the volcano.
일요일 새벽 일본 남서부의 외딴섬에서 화산이 분화해 일본 정부가 분화구 주변 지역 입산 규제에 해당하는 화산경보 3단계를 발령했습니다. Tell us more.
Yes, so the eruption occurred at 12:22 a.m. In the island of Kagoshima Prefecture. And there were no immediate reports of any injuries, but the government has been on a nationwide alert after a certain series of volcanoes, but also
there was an
similar
earthquake.
earthquakes as well
yeah.
as follow-ups to earthquakes as well. So this is a level 3 volcanic alert out of 5, and they're restricting the entrance to dangerous areas surrounding that volcano.
네, 경보가 총 5단계가 있는데 그중에서 이번에 3단계가 발령이 됐다라고 합니다. 인명피해는 보고되지 않고 있습니다. There were no immediate reports of injuries라는 것은 이게 당장 바로 이 이제 분화 소식이 나왔을 때
Yes.
즉시 뭐 당장 어떤 인명피해 소식이 들리지는 않았다. There were no immediate reports of injuries.
Yes.
자, 표현을 좀 볼게요. 외딴섬인데요. A remote island.
Yes, if you have a remote area or a remote location, a remote island, it's far away in distance. So we also use remote control for
Sure.
the TV. It means that it's a controller that you can use to control the TV when you are at a distance far away from the TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Remote는 멀리 떨어져 있다라는 의미죠. 그래서 우리가 리모컨이라고 하는 게 원래는 remote control입니다. 멀리서 이렇게 조정을 하는 네, 그거. 근데 외딴섬이라는 의미로도 이제 remote island라고 해요.
That's
예,
right.
다른 지역과는 멀리 떨어져 있으니까. 자, 그 다음에 restrict.
Yes, if you are restricting something, you're putting a limit on something and you are putting up boundaries and guards so that you can't gain access to that area. So literally what you are saying is that you can't get into closer areas to
Right.
the volcano.
그래요. 통제한다라는 의미로 restrict라고 합니다. 여기서는 restrict the entrance to 어디라고 했는데요. 어디에 들어가는 것이 이제 출입 금지가 됐다라는 뜻이겠죠. Okay, well, here it is again. A volcano erupted on a remote island in southwestern Japan early Sunday, prompting the government to issue a level 3 volcanic alert, restricting the entrance to dangerous areas surrounding the volcano. Let's move on to the final headline.
A Thai woman has revealed how shell-shocked she was to discover a rare pearl inside a shellfish she had purchased at a local market and was about to consume.
한 태국 여성이 동네 시장에서 구입한 후 먹으려 했던 조개에서 희귀한 진주를 발견해 깜짝 놀란 일화를 공개했습니다. 이 헤드라인이 재밌는 거는요. 이 shell-shocked라는 표현이 quotation 마크 안에 들어있어요.
Yes,
그러니까
that's
보통은
right.
우리가 조개에서 진주 나왔을 때 같은 뭔가 정말 이렇게 이거 뭐야? 이런 기쁜 놀람에다 shell-shocked를 쓰지 않아요.
That's right.
그렇지만 여기선 조개잖아요. shell. shell 얘기이기 때문에 그래서 약간의 언어 유희로 실제로 이게 어떤 통신사였는지 기억이 안 나네요. 아마 로이터스 아니면 가디언이었던 것 같은데
Yes.
네, 거기서 썼던 표현을 그대로 한번 활용을 해봤습니다. 그래서 shell-shocked라는 게 이제 그 표현부터 한번 보죠.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Well, shell-shocked, actually, you have to go back to World War I.
Yes.
And it's actually a traumatic term because it was a term coined during World War I.
Yep.
And it was about how shell bombings caused post-traumatic stress disorder to the army officials as well as all of the soldiers there. So it's actually quite a serious term.
It is.
Talking about how shell-shocked you are. And it's talking about someone being very confused, very upset, or exhausted because something has happened.
네, 그렇습니다. 여기서 말하는 shell이 원래 의미는요. 전쟁 중에 계속해서 폭격이 이루어질 때 그런 것을 shelling이라고 하거든요. 근데 그것으로 인한 트라우마가 생기는 사실 굉장히 무서운
That's right.
증상이고요. 이게 PTSD의 일종인데 그런 전쟁 신경증을 shell shock라고 해요. 그러나 여기서는 전혀 전쟁이랑 상관없이 조개라는 shell이라는 이 단어 때문에
Yes.
썼고 이게 재밌다라는 걸 강조하기 위한 코테이션이 여기 들어가 있는 겁니다.
It was a play on words.
It's absolutely a play on words. 네, 언어 유희를 영어로 a play on words라고 해요. 자, 그러면 일단 이 표현을 알았으니까 어떤 이런 놀라운 재밌는 상황이 있었는지 돌아가 볼까요? It's a few
Yes.
months ago, right?
Yes, it is. And actually, I consider this woman very lucky
Of course.
to be able to find a rare pearl.
Yeah.
And she was a 53-year-old woman, Wasana Ponmai. And she said that one day at the end of last year, 2023, she wanted to have some shellfish. And so she went to the market, purchased quite a lot, 5 kilograms
Wow.
of crustaceans. Quite a lot, actually.
That is a lot.
Exactly. And she bought it, she brought it back, she boiled it and dipped it in sauce to eat it with rice. Very yummy. And then she was enjoying a particular clam. And she uncovered an off-white, not very large, but round object. And that was the very
pearl.
beautiful pearl. Yeah.
그래요. 얼마나 이 조개가 드시고 싶었으면은 시장에 가서 5kg이나 이제
Yes.
사가지고 지난해 그 말이었대요. 12월 말쯤에 있었던 일인데 그거를 이제 사서 그다음에 이제 다 먹을 준비를 했는데 갑자기 진주가 나온 겁니다.
Yes.
근데 바로 이거를 검증받지는 못했다면서요?
That's right. So she took it along with her when traveling to Bangkok for business later on. And then she got it examined. It was actually quite big because it was 6.8 carats, which is quite hefty.
Yeah, yeah.
And so a certificate was issued for this pearl. And now she has a jewel, or she can make it into a jewelry.
Well, that's great for her.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, there was another very similar thing
That's
that
right.
happened. So
Yes.
maybe she was thinking, ooh,
I
has
can
this
sell
happened
it.
to me? Is it a real pearl?
Yes.
Well, she was definitely lucky because it turned out to be absolutely genuine. 네, 지금 진짜 진주인지 아닌지 판별을 받기 위해서 당장은 아니었고 나중에 방콕으로 가면서 이제 들고 가서요. 그래서 판별하는 전문가를 만났대요. 그래서 이거 혹시 진짜 진주예요? 근데 진짜로 나와서
That's right.
네.
Yeah.
근데 또 지금 경제적으로 사실은 좀 힘든 상황이 있었다는데
Yeah.
큰 도움이 되고 있다고 합니다. 이
Hopefully.
진주가요.
Yes.
우리 이렇게 또 훈훈한 뉴스로 이렇게 마무리를 하게 되는데 be about to do something이라는 표현 하나 볼게요.
Yes, if you're about to do something, you're going to do something very soon in terms of the timeline. So you are just before, it's just before you're going to do something. And in her case, she was about to eat it.
Yes, she was about to consume it and
Yes.
then she found a little treasure.
That's right.
다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A Thai woman has revealed how shell-shocked she was to discover a rare pearl inside a shellfish she had purchased at a local market and was about to consume. That's it for our headlines.
The Seoul Education Office has announced it will launch an online class-only school that can provide high school students with courses not presently offered in their own schools starting March of next year, when a high school credit system is set to be adopted nationwide.
서울시 교육청이 온라인 수업 전용 고등학교 설립을 추진한다고 발표했습니다. 이에 따라 서울 고교생은 고교 학점제가 전국적으로 도입되는 내년 3월부터 자기 학교에서 제공되지 않는 과목을 이 학교의 온라인 수업으로 들을 수 있게 될 전망입니다. Tell us more, Paul.
Very good news coming out of bad, because sadly, Deoksu High School in Songdong district in Seoul is closing.
Oh dear.
But it is going to be replaced by this, it's tentatively named, so it's not confirmed, the Seoul Integrated Online School. So though we're losing one school, we're getting another that could actually help students all around the country. There's going to be 30 online lecture rooms and 10 classrooms that can be used for both online and offline classes. It should be said you can take a class online, but a test has to be taken in person. And it's not just for those who want to study something their high school doesn't have. It's also about accessibility. So if you have health problems, if you're a high school student who maybe can't make it to class, who has difficulties with their health, then you can take these courses. Also, there will be courses offered to multicultural families and their children. It all comes as we're getting this new high school credit system. The whole country, nationwide, is going to be adopting that in the new semester next year. And that means students are going to be allowed to choose what subjects they want. If they want a certain career path, or if they're very good at a certain kind of subject, they're going to be able to pick and choose to make sure they have the future they want.
Oh, wow, this is fascinating. 그러니까 폐교 예정인 서울에 있는 성동구의 덕수 그 고등학교 거기에 이제 이렇게 새로운 온라인 학교가 생기는 거죠. 그러니까 온라인 강의실도 생기고 온오프라인 겸용 그런 교실도 있을 것이고요. 그다음에 이제 현재 듣지 못하는 그런 과목들을 이 온라인 학교를 통해서 다양하게 또 들을 수 있게 됩니다. 우리는 보통 수업을 듣는다라고 하는데요. 영어로는 listen to a class라고 하진 않죠.
No, you take a class.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like you hold on to it. You're going to grab that information.
네, 동사 take를 써서 수업을 듣는다라고 한다는 거. 자, 이 헤드라인의 주요 표현은요. 먼저 provide A with B입니다.
Yes, it means you give A B, or you supply A with B. So it could be in the way that we provide our listeners with news and English expressions,
Right.
or it could be in the way that a school provides lunches for the children, or it could be the way that the breadwinner provides money for the family.
Indeed. Provide A with B. A에게 B를 제공해 준다는 뜻이에요. 그래서 provide students with courses. 학생들에게 어떤 수업을 제공한다. The next expression is to adopt something.
Yes. Now, many listeners may be familiar with this in terms of children, in terms of a child being adopted. Maybe a child has lost their parents, they're an orphan, and so another family takes them on, takes care of them. They are adopted. Or you adopt a pet, you adopt a cat or a dog. But we can also adopt a policy. Or a system, meaning we take it on, we start doing it. So in this case, we're adopting this high school credit system, meaning we're going to do it. We're going to start doing it.
네. adopt, adopt라고 하면은 무언가를 택하다라는 의미가 있어요. 그래서 여기서는 어떤 시스템이 도입이 될 것이다라고 해석을 하면 되겠네요.
It's a very versatile word. For example, you can adopt a new attitude today. I'm going to decide to be happier.
오늘은 내가 아주 긍정적으로 행동하기로 결정했어. 이런 것을 내가 선택한 거잖아요. 그래서 I'm going to adopt a new attitude, a positive attitude 이렇게 표현할 수도 있겠고 여기서는 adopt a system, a new credit system이라고 얘기를 하고 있습니다. 바로 고교 학점제를 이제 앞으로 도입한다는 뜻이 되겠죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The Seoul Education Office has announced it will launch an online class-only school that can provide high school students with courses not presently offered in their own schools starting March of next year, when a high school credit system is set to be adopted nationwide. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
A report published by Oxfam has revealed that the world's 5 richest men have seen their fortunes more than double since 2020, while over the same period, 5 billion people have become poorer.
국제구호개발기구 옥스팜이 내놓은 보고서에 따르면 2020년 이후 세계 5대 부자의 자산은 2배 이상 증가했으며 같은 기간 동안 전 세계 약 50억 명은 더 가난해진 것으로 나타났습니다. So there's a wider gap.
There is, and we get these figures every year, and they come at a time when a lot of billionaires are having a very good time in Davos, Switzerland, because the report was released on the first day of the annual World Economic Forum. And this is when basically the richest people in the world meet up and decide what their next year is going to be like. And so Oxfam has reported that this net worth of the 5 richest men, because they are all men in the top 5, has shot from $405 billion to $869 billion since 2020. That's a lot of gugbap you could buy for that money. It means that they're earning the equivalent of something like $14 million per hour.
Wow.
Yeah, astonishing amounts of money.
It's hard to even grasp what that money looks like.
It is, and unsurprisingly, we've seen Elon Musk at the top. Then we have Bernard Arnault, we have Jeff Bezos, we have Larry Ellison and Mark Zuckerberg. They are the top 5. But, well, that means we have a lot of poor people. And the rich represent 21% of the world's population. And they hold 69% of global wealth. And they're 74% of the world's billionaire wealth,
right.
Which means a lot of other countries are suffering while the rich get richer.
Currently, we talk about billionaires. Do you remember in the past, just being a millionaire was considered very, very rich?
Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, the idea of being a millionaire was something impossible and out of reach. But nowadays, it seems like there are millions of millionaires.
Yeah, I wonder if at this rate, we'll be talking about trillionaires.
Quite possibly. I'd just like to say for the record, Sue, I am a millionaire.
Oh, in Korea.
In one.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at the first expression here. The rich have seen their fortunes more than double.
Yes. So let's start with the word fortunes. Your fortune is your wealth, how much you own. And that could be in terms of money, but also in stocks or property or whatever it may be. It's everything that you have. And if it's more than doubled, it means it's grown by more than twice the size. And the interesting expression here is to see something happen. It means it happens, but it also means we've witnessed it. So in this case, these billionaires have watched their bank accounts go up and up and up and up and up.
See something happen. 무언가를 목격하다라는 뜻이 있는 것인데요. 원래 의미는 그렇지만 이제 이렇게 됐다라고 해석을 하면
simply
됩니다.
means it's happened.
네. 그래서 see their fortunes more than double. fortune은 여기서 부에 해당이 되기 때문에 돈, 자산이라고 볼 수 있겠고요. 더블한 정도가 아니라 더블한 그 이상이에요. 2배 이상 증가했으니까 more than double. So the 5 richest people in the world have seen their fortunes or their wealth more than double. 자, 그 다음 표현은 but the poor have become poorer.
Yes, if you become poorer, it means you are poorer than you were before. You have less money, less property, less anything.
Yeah.
Yes, so it means you have less of whatever that may be.
So you could actually sum this down and say the rich have become richer and the poor have become poorer.
Yes, and there's fewer rich and more poor.
Become poorer, 더 가난해지다. Become richer, 더 부유해지다. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A report published by Oxfam has revealed that the world's 5 richest men have seen their fortunes more than double since 2020, while over the same period, 5 billion people have become poorer.
Sub-zero conditions pushing wind chills as low as minus 56 degrees Celsius across much of the US have left millions of Americans facing near blizzard conditions in the northeast and several inches of snow in portions of the south.
영하 56도까지 내려가는 이제 강추위가 체감온도를 얘기하는 거죠. 미국 대부분 지역을 덮친 가운데 눈보라에 가까운 날씨를 보인 북동부와 몇 인치 두께의 폭설이 내린 남부 일부 지역의 경우 많은 미국인들이 어려움을 겪는 것으로 전해졌습니다. 네, 일단은 지금 미국에서 상당히 지금 너무나 춥다라는 것은 우리가 뉴스를 통해서 알 수 있는데 어느 정도인가요? Tell us more.
If you thought it was chilly in Korea yesterday, I think at one point when I opened the window in the morning it was minus 7. In some parts of America, like in Montana and the Dakotas, they were looking at wind chill temperatures as low as minus 56.
Yeah, exactly. 여기서 말하는 wind chill이 체감 온도입니다. 실제로 thermometer에 나와 있는 건 아니지만 그렇지만 그렇게 느껴질 정도로 상당히 추운 거죠.
Yeah, and it's not just that. They're talking 95 million people in the US are under weather warnings or advisories for wind chills of something like minus 17 degrees. Very, very cold, very, very extreme weather. And forecasters were saying it could push as far south as northern Texas. Plus snow. Buffalo, New York had snowfall of something like 0.3 to 0.6 meters forecast. Many flights were cancelled. We're talking about 700 flights were cancelled on Sunday. It's very, very difficult. This week we've got snow, sleet, freezing rain, and even in places like Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and the southern Appalachians, the whole country pretty much is having a pretty tough winter.
네. 자, 이런 그 한파를 겪고 있는 미국 얘기를 지금 간단하게 들어봤는데 체감 온도가 사실 영하 17도도 굉장히 춥게 느껴지는
Yes.
것인데 영하 56도 체감 온도가 있다 보니까 상대적으로 여기는 좀 덜 춥게 보여질 수 있지만 그렇지 않습니다. 굉장히 지금 고생인 것 같고요. 이 체감 온도 우리가 계속 말하고 있는데 영어로 뭐라고 하죠?
Wind chill.
wind chill. 네, 그겁니다.
Yeah.
wind chill이랑 체감 온도가 매칭이 좀 안 될 수 있어요. 우리는 왠지 체감 온도 그러면은 feels like 그리고 body 뭐 이거 나와야 될 것 같은데
Yeah.
그렇진 않습니다.
Because we talk about the real feel temperature,
Yes.
which is a more appropriate translation for the Korean. But here, this is very specific for cold weather, because what it is the combination of the temperature and the combination of the wind on exposed skin to get you what it will feel like. So it's similar to real feel, but it's very specific about winter winds.
네, 체감 온도라는 또 다른 표현으로 real feel temperature라고 할 수도 있어요. 이거는 더울 때도 추울 때도 다 쓸 수 있는 표현이라면은 여기에 나오는 wind chill이라는 표현은 구체적으로 추울 때만 쓰는 체감 온도라는 표현이죠. 이 단어 안에 이미 바람, 추위 이런 단어들이 들어가 있잖아요. 그러니까 실제 뭐라고 그러죠? thermometer,
네.
온도계에 나와 있는 것보다 우리 바람으로 인해서 여러 다른 요인으로 인해서 느껴지는 것을 영어로는 이렇게 표현을 하는 거예요. 그래서 wind chill 여기 S 붙었죠. But you could just say the wind chill.
Yeah, today's wind chill is
단수로
whatever it may
이렇게
be.
쓸 수 있고 아니면은 지금 미국은 여러 지역에서의 wind chills를 보고 있으니까 그 중에 하나가 minus 56 degrees Celsius. 아니면은 Fahrenheit로는 I think it was something like minus 69 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I have to say I'm useless with Fahrenheit. I grew up with Celsius,
Yes, of course.
so whenever I see temperatures in the American style, I always get very confused.
맞아요. 저도 뭐 파렌하이트는 익숙치가 않습니다만 미국에서는 다 파렌하이트 쓰죠. 그래서 화씨로는 영하 69도, 섭씨로 한다면은 영하 56도까지 체감 온도가 내려갔다. 자, blizzard conditions 앞에 near가 붙었는데요. What does this mean?
Last Tuesday, here in Seoul and the surrounding areas, we had a lot of snow,
Yes.
but we did not have a blizzard because a blizzard is a big, extreme snowstorm. We're talking where you can't see in front of your face. There's so much snow and wind flying about. So blizzard conditions when it's a serious snowstorm.
네, 눈보라를 blizzard라고 합니다. Near blizzard conditions, 눈보라가 치는 것 같은 날씨라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Sub-zero conditions pushing wind chills as low as minus 56 degrees Celsius across much of the US have left millions of Americans facing near blizzard conditions in the northeast and several inches of snow in portions of the south. Moving on, this is headline number 4.
NASA and Lockheed Martin have unveiled a radical new, quiet supersonic jet that could pave the way for a new generation of commercial aircraft that can travel faster than the speed of sound.
미국 항공우주국 나사와 럭히드 마틴이 공동 개발한 혁신적인 저소음 초음속 항공기가 공개됐습니다. 이로써 음속보다 빠르게 운항할 수 있는 차세대 상업 항공기 시대의 가능성이 열렸다는 평가가 나왔습니다. So this is not only going to be super fast, but super quiet.
Yes, because this has been the big issue. For the past 50 years, supersonic flight has not been allowed commercially because in many countries they say, no, it's going to be too loud and too startling. You've heard the term sonic boom perhaps,
Yeah.
which is that big pong as the plane breaks the sound barrier. But now NASA, they have their Quest mission where they've developed the X-59. And the X-59 flies at 1.4 times the speed of sound, but because of the way that it's designed and the way that it's shaped, it creates a quieter, well, not a sonic boom, but a sonic thump. So it's not quite so startling, not quite so disturbing.
Right.
And it means that, say, if you wanted to travel from Seoul to New York, instead of a 14-hour flight time, it would only take you 7 hours.
Wow.
Yes, so we're talking about a big, big difference. The aircraft is set to take off for the first time later this year, so we'll see how it goes. It's not so big. It's only 30 meters long and 9 meters wide. And we shall see if it becomes maybe commercially viable in the future.
네, 지금 개발 중인 이 항공기고요. 이름이 X-59입니다. It looks very pointy.
Incredibly pointy. In fact, the cockpit, which is normally at the front of the plane, is halfway down the plane.
네, 굉장히 이렇게 뾰족한 좀 납작한 느낌인데 아무래도 이제 빠르게 가면서 좀 뭐라 그럴까요? 마찰을 줄이기 위한 것 같아요. 그리고 이제 만약에 이게 제대로 성공적으로 운항이 된다 그러면은 현재는 서울에서 뉴욕까지라고 했나요? 14시간 걸리는데 이 X-59을 타면은 7시간 정도 걸릴 것으로 예상을 하고 있고 또 서울에서 파리 같은 경우에도 6시간 만에 갈 수 있을 것이다.
Also means we get to Jeju Island in 30 minutes.
제주도는 뭐 그냥 몇 분 안에 가지 않을까요? 그 제주도 그래요. 자, 그럼 한번 표현을 보도록 하겠습니다. Supersonic.
We talk about this in the headline. We have a synonym here: the speed of sound, meaning we're breaking the speed of sound with supersonic.
Yep.
If you remember the old computer game, console game, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
What was his speciality? He went very fast. So if we go supersonic, we break the speed of sound. We go faster than it.
네, sonic하고 sound가 어원이 같아요.
네.
그래서 이게 그 소리라는 의미를 가지고 있어서 sonic가 음속인데 supersonic이니까 그걸 넘는 겁니다.
네.
그래서 초음속이라는 뜻이 있고요. 실제로 이 X-59은 속도가 약 시속 1,489km 정도가 될 거로 예상을 하고 있어요. And paving the way for something.
If we pave the way for something, we make it possible for others, for something to happen, or we're leading the way. So, for example, we look at certain innovators like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs paving the way for computer designers in the future.
네, 무엇을 위해서 길을 닦다, 길을 열다 이런 뜻이 있죠. 그래서 특히 혁신적인 어떤 일이 일어날 때 많이 쓰는 표현인데요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. NASA and Lockheed Martin have unveiled a radical new quiet supersonic jet that could pave the way for a new generation of commercial aircraft that can travel faster than the speed of sound. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Original scripts from the iconic sitcom Friends that were recovered from a bin by an unnamed former staff member in 1998 have been sold at auction for $28,000 or about 37 million won.
1998년에 익명의 한 관계자가 쓰레기통에서 찾아낸 유명 시트콤 프렌즈의 대본 원본이 28,000달러, 우리 돈으로 약 3,700만 원에 낙찰됐습니다. 와우.
So no one told you scripts were going to sell this way.
다다다다단.
Yes, quite astonishing. They were shoved in a studio bin in 1998 to be recycled or dumped or who knows what after the season 4 finale. And they weren't expected to make much. They thought originally they'd make maybe $1,000. However, there were a lot of bids. They had 200 pre-sale bids from all around the world, and eventually an international buyer who's unnamed got them.
Yep.
And they are at this crucial moment in the series. If you're a Friends fan, you must remember when they went to the UK. We had the double episode,
wedding.
Ross's wedding in London with Emily, poor Emily, where at the wedding, in his wedding vows, he said, I take thee, Rachel. Shocking. I think also because of the sad passing of Matthew Perry that we've all been thinking about Friends in the past few weeks. So it's no surprise that there are many fans who wanted to have this in their possession.
그래요. 해당 대본이요. 시즌 4의 그 로스's 웨딩 대본이었다고 합니다. 자, 그래서 원래는 한 $1,000 정도의 낙찰이 되지 않을까 이렇게 예상을 했었는데요. 그것을 훨씬 뛰어넘는 28,000달러에 낙찰이 됐네요. 자, 표현은 이거예요. This is iconic.
Ah, yes. If we talk about something or someone being iconic, it's like they're a symbol. They represent something very important, or they themselves are very important. We often use it when we talk about film stars or pop stars. I think if we look at Korea and Korea's relationship with Hollywood, many older Koreans would see Audrey Hepburn as being iconic.
Sure.
When I first came here, I saw pictures of Roman Holiday everywhere I went. Madonna, George Michael, Freddie Mercury, Psy, and Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
They're all iconic, meaning they stand out and they become symbolic.
상징적이다라는 의미가 있죠. 그래서 무언가를 대표한다는 느낌으로 This is iconic. 자, 그다음에 the script was recovered from a bin.
Yes, recovered meaning rescued, saved, or found. And what's interesting here, we have to talk about the word bin. When I first read this headline, I know that Sue has a hand in the headlines, and I thought, okay, it's just a trash can, because the British word bin is exchangeable with garbage pail or trash can. However, a studio bin is more like a skip. It's a very large container for putting your trash in. So I think in the US, they'll use this term bin to mean this very big trash can, whereas in the UK, you take out your bins every Tuesday for the bin men.
Yeah, rubbish bin이라고 하죠. 영국에서는 쓰레기통을요. 미국에서는 보통 trash can이라고 하는데
Yeah.
네, 미국에서 bin이라고 하는 여기서 말하는 특히 이렇게 촬영장에 있는 bin은 좀 큰 폐유지함 같은 거죠. 큰 쓰레기통이에요.
네.
네. 어쨌든 쓰레기통이라는 의미가 있습니다. 때에 따라서 bin이 좀 다르게 쓰이긴 하지만 여기서는 그런 폐유지함 정도의 느낌으로 볼 수 있겠고 be recovered는 거기서 발견됐다, 거기서 찾아냈다 이 뜻이겠죠?
Yeah, did you know there was once a garbage pail who went to a trash can and said, "Do you want to go and see what they do with the rubbish?" And the trash can said, "Been there, done that."
Oh, been there, done that. 쓰레기통끼리의 대화에서 been there, done that. 좋습니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 헤드라인을 읽어볼게요. Original scripts from the iconic sitcom Friends that were recovered from a bin by an unnamed former staff member in 1998 have been sold at auction for $28,000 or about 37 million won. And that's it for the headlines.
The government has decided to set aside a record budget to issue discount coupons for the purchase of agricultural products and boost their supplies ahead of the Lunar New Year holiday.
정부가 설 명절을 앞두고 농산품 구매 촉진을 위한 할인 지원 및 공급 확대를 위해 역대 최대 규모의 예산 책정을 결정했습니다. 자, 한번 자세히 살펴볼까요? Tell us more.
Right. So when we're talking about a record budget, the government has vowed to spend an all-time high of 84 billion won, which is approximately 63.52 million US dollars, to provide discount coupons for the purchase of the stuff that's needed for the ancestral right table, such as livestock and fishery goods. So it will release reserve stocks for vegetables, fish, salt, and will boost the import of eggs as well. And these coupons can be used to purchase these farm produce ahead of the Lunar New Year's holidays.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be a team that's tasked with checking the prices and supply of major demand or high demand goods that will be set up from February 9th to 12th. That's ahead of the holidays that's coming up. And they say that December consumer prices rose 3.2% on year. And that was the fifth consecutive month that prices stayed above the 3% level. So they're going to be keeping or trying to keep those prices in check.
Yeah, exactly. Every year around this time of year, prices of agricultural produce, they go up.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, 설 is just around the corner. 제사상을 영어로 ancestral rights table?
Yeah, ancestral. So we say 제사 is ancestral rights.
R-I-T-E-S.
Yes,
죠?
yes. So we call the table that is prepared for that ancestral rights table.
네. 사실 영어에는 존재하지 않는 거기
Yeah.
때문에 이거를 이제 설명을 해서 직역을 하는 수밖에는 없는 표현인데요. ancestral rights. 여기서 이 rights가 어떤 그런 형식을 갖춘 것을 말합니다.
Yep.
그래서 여기서 ancestral rights table이라고 하는 게 바로 그 제사상이 될 텐데 거기에 올라갈 여러 가지 농산품들이 있을 텐데 이제 지금 가격이 많이 오르잖아요 이맘때쯤에.
Yeah.
그래서 거기에 위한 어떤 대책이라고 볼 수 있겠고요. 할인 지원이 또 많이 될 것이고 공급도 확대가 된다. 자, 첫 번째 표현 보겠습니다. The government has set aside something.
So to set aside something means to save something, usually money, or it could be time for a special purpose.
네. set something aside는요, 챙겨둔다, 따로 챙겨둔다라는 뜻이 있는데 여기서는 이제 정부가 이렇게 특별 예산을 책정했다라는 뜻으로 they have set aside라고 얘기를 했습니다. 자, 그 다음에 boost supplies는요?
Right. To boost something means to increase. So in this case, it means to increase a stock of a resource. So it would be to increase the amount of vegetables or other produce or other supplies that would be needed for the holidays that are coming up.
그래요. boost라는 게 슉 올린다는 뜻이 있죠. 그래서 뭔가를 증대시킨다. supplies는 공급이 되겠습니다. 공급을 많이 늘린다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The government has decided to set aside a record budget to issue discount coupons for the purchase of agricultural products and boost their supplies ahead of the Lunar New Year holiday. Okay, let's move on to the second headline.
An annual survey on employee satisfaction has found that the average happiness index among Korean workers stood at 41 points out of 100, with military and media professionals being the least satisfied.
매년 실시하는 직장인 만족도 조사에서 지난해 한국 직장인들의 평균 행복 지수가 100점 만점에 41점을 기록했고 직업군인과 언론인의 만족도가 가장 낮은 것으로 나타났습니다. 아이고. 자, 그럼 한번
We are included in this group.
만족하고 계세요, 선생님?
I was kind of surprised because I am actually very happy with my job.
Me too.
But I guess it might depend on whether you are a full employee at one of the media companies in Korea or like us, if you are just
A freelancer.
freelancer. Yeah.
It could be different. 네, 그렇습니다. 여기서 사실 이제 직장인들의 평균 행복 지수라서 저희는 해당이 안 될 수도 있는데
Yeah.
저희는 프리랜서니까. 그렇지만
Yeah.
어쨌든 저희는 굉장히 만족하면서 일하고
We are
있습니다만
happy with our job.
네, 네. 그런데 여기 보니까 이제 직업군인과 언론인이 만족도 점수가 가장 낮았고, 그럼 가장 높은 직업군은 뭐였을까요? 그럼 전체적으로 한번 살펴볼까요?
Yeah, so in terms of professionals, they said that doctors, medical doctors, were the happiest or earned the most points in the survey. So the survey is called the Blind Index of Employees' Happiness, or BIE. It's an annual survey that was developed jointly by Korea web portal site Blind and the Korea Labor Institute. So it's been conducted annually since 2018. And they say that the average happiness score for Korean employees has never exceeded 50 points. So, it's, I guess it shows that, company employees are not very happy. So they say that the overall low employee satisfaction rate is often attributed to the high stress levels that employees face here, as well as their low job satisfaction. But going back to the results for this, or last year, 2023, they say medical doctors had the highest or scored the highest with 60 points. Pharmacists were right below them with 59 points. And then lawyers were also at a similar level with 59 points. So those were the highest. And then, as we mentioned, the lowest scoring jobs were soldiers or military personnel.
직업군인이죠. 네.
And journalists also were in the bottom with 34 points.
네. 이게 이제 블라인드 지수라고 부르는 이유가요. 그 직장인 익명 커뮤니티 블라인드가 실시하기 때문입니다. 그래서 그 익명 커뮤니티를 통해서 작년에 6월부터 11월까지 이 만족도 조사를 실시했어요. 그랬더니 가장 만족도가 높은 직업군은 의사, 약사, 변호사 순이었습니다. 그리고 이제 가장 하위에는 가장 낮은 거는 직업군인 30점이었습니다. 그리고
Yeah.
언론인은 34점. 근데
Yeah.
의사의 만족도도 60점이니까요. 아주 높은 거는
not-
아닌데
yeah.
그래도 어쨌든
Still
네,
above
네,
average,
가장
right?
높았고.
And what I thought was a little interesting was that, not interesting, maybe obvious, but they said that the happiness of employees at a company was very closely related to the firm's market value and
Yep.
stock returns.
Interesting. And also depending on how long you've been working at the company,
Yeah.
your rank, that also changed things as well.
Right. I think it is very important because here you a lot of people still I think have the thought that you work at a company for your entire life and you go up along the ranks. So that's very important for them. So
네.
your place at that company and how long you've been there, it does contribute to your job satisfaction.
지금 직급 얘기를 하는 건데요. 이제 직업군의 평균을 우리가 지금 얘기했지만 직업별로 또 이렇게 면밀히 살펴보게 되면은 몇 년을 일했느냐 직급에 따라서도 만족도가 많이 달랐다고 합니다. 흥미로운 거는요. 입사 1년까지는 이 만족 지수가 비교적 높았어요.
It's the honeymoon effect.
그런가 봐요.
Yeah.
1년 지나고 나서 뚝 떨어진다고 합니다. 그래서 이제 대체적으로는 이제 사원급 한 1년에서 4년 정도가 가장 낮은 만족도를 보였고요. 신입급은 조금 높다가 그다음에 그 이후에 사원급은 조금 낮아지고 과장급이 되면은 또 다시 조금 올라가는데 사실 차장과 부장급이 조금 더 만족도가 높았다고. 그러니까 오래오래 이게 회사에 있을수록 만족도가 더 올라가더라. 네. 맞나요? 여러분 공감하시는지?
Let us know. Because we've never really worked at a company for
네.
a long time
네.
as, their full employee.
그래요. 아마 우리 부장님도 굉장히 만족하시면서 직장 생활을 하실
She's
거라고.
nodding her head. A very strong yes.
직급별로 봤을 때는 가장 만족도가 높다고 하네요. 자, 첫 번째 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. 이게
Yes.
연간 서베이인데 annual survey라고 하죠.
Right. So a survey is an examination of people's opinions or their behavior, and it's made by asking people questions. So it's done to gather information or public opinion, and something that's done annually means that it's done or it's conducted every year.
그래요. annual이라는 게 매년 실시한다라는 뜻이 있어서 annual survey, 매년 실시하는 조사고요. satisfaction 키워드죠, 여기서.
Satisfaction means contentment, or it's that pleasant feeling that you get when you maybe receive something that you wanted, or when you've done or are doing something that you've wanted to do.
네, 만족감을 satisfaction이라고 하고 반대로 dissatisfaction이라는 표현이 있긴 하지만 그 넷플릭스 미니시리즈 Beef도 비슷한 느낌으로 그러니까 불만을
Yes.
뜻하는 또 다른 단어가 이게 beef가 있긴 합니다. 근데 그 beef는 조금 더 강하죠.
Yeah.
진짜 너무 싫은 이 느낌, 불만이 굉장히 가득할 때 쓰기도 하는데 이 만족과 불만족 같이 알아두면 좋을 것 같습니다. An annual survey on employee satisfaction has found that the average happiness index among Korean workers stood at 41 points out of 100, with military and media professionals being the least satisfied.
Nearly 2 tons of strawberries with a market value of 25 million won have gone missing just before their shipment in the southern city of Gimhae, South Gyeongsang Province.
경상남도 김해에서 시가 2,500만 원 상당의 딸기 약 2톤 물량이 출하 직전에 사라지는 사건이 발생했습니다. 아니, 왜 어떻게 된 거죠?
It's crazy,
네,
right?
알려주세요.
So nearly 2 tons of strawberries or 1,900 kilograms of strawberries that were harvested from 8 farms in the region near Gimhae, South Gyeongsang Province, they disappeared just
How
before.
can so many strawberries just
Right?
disappear?
They just disappeared just
Okay.
before they were supposed to be shipped out, and it comes just before or just amid this recent price hike that we've been seeing of one of Korea's most popular fruits during the winter time. Yeah.
그렇죠. 김해 딸기가 유명한데 어떻게 된 것인지 이게 상당히 많은 양이었어요. 뭐 물량도 그렇지만 또 가격도 따지자면은 시가 한 2,500만 원
Yeah.
정도라고 했는데
Yeah, 25 million won.
좀
So
황당한 사건인 것 같아요.
yeah, it's a crazy case. So they were stacked after being harvested, and it was supposed to be transported to be sold at auction,
Okay.
and they didn't even know about it. So I guess they had so much stocked up, they just didn't even know that it was missing. So farmers became aware of it, and they reported the missing strawberries to the police and the city government on January 2nd. But like I said, they still don't know where the missing strawberries are.
So this happened on New Year's Eve, going on to
It's
New
been a
Year's
while.
Day.
It's already been
They-
2 weeks. So
yeah, and they still haven't found
they
it.
still haven't found it.
Oh my
I'm assuming they've already been sold. So I mean, they're probably all gone. They're all gone. They've been sold. People have probably eaten it.
Yeah.
So they probably won't find the strawberries, but maybe they might be able to find who did it and get down to finding the culprit behind the case.
새해 첫날 이렇게 된 거죠. 12월 31일에서 1월 1일로 넘어가는 그 밤에 이게 그 쌓아둔 정말 많은 양의 딸기가 갑자기 이렇게 사라져서 지금까지도 찾지 못하고 있다고 합니다.
Yeah.
원래는 보통 이렇게 뭐 과일이나 채소나 이런 것들을 그 농민들이 수확하고 그다음에 출하해서 경매에 붙여가지고 가격을 매기고 하잖아요.
Yeah.
제가 그런 경매장에 한번 가본 적이 있어요.
Really?
새벽에.
Yeah.
예. 그 가락시장 쪽에 가서 예전에 취재를 한 적이 있어가지고 굉장히 아침 일찍 많이들 오셔가지고 분위기가 막 이렇게 가격 차차차 부르고 하는 활기찬
Very exciting,
예,
right?
활기찬 분위기가
I can
있는데
imagine.
한번 상상해 보세요. 물건이 없어졌어. 굉장히 황당했을 것 같아요. 자, 한번 표현 보도록 하겠습니다. Market value.
Right. So it's basically the price that something is being sold at the market at that time.
그렇죠. 이게 바로 시가가 되겠습니다. 시장 가치 영어랑 우리말 그대로 그냥 직역이 된 거예요. 시가, market value. 자, 그다음에 to go missing.
If something goes missing, it means it disappears or
Yeah.
it's not in your sight. It's vanished and often under mysterious or suspicious circumstances.
네, 사라지는 것을 go missing이라고 합니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Nearly 2 tons of strawberries with a market value of 25 million won have gone missing just before their shipment in the southern city of Kimhae, South Gyeongsang Province. Now let's move on to the next headline.
Netflix's mini-series Beef has taken home 8 Emmy Awards, including for director Lee Sung-jin and actors Steven Yeun and Ali Wong, who became the first woman of Asian descent to win a lead acting Emmy.
올해 에미상 시상식에서 넷플릭스의 미니 시리즈 성난 사람들 비프가 감독상의 이성진과 남우주연상의 스티븐 연 그리고 아시아계 최초로 여우주연상을 받은 엘리 웡을 포함해 총 8개 부문을 수상했습니다. 여기서 말하는 건 이제 아시아계 미국인을 얘기하고 있는 것이죠. Tell us more.
Right, so we're getting an Emmy update. So Beef is, I guess, a Netflix breakout series. It definitely dominated the limited or anthology series categories at the Emmys. It's definitely done very well, and it follows its success at the Golden Globes last week. So it won the Emmys for Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series, Outstanding Directing, Outstanding Writing, Outstanding Lead Actor, Outstanding Lead Actress, Outstanding Casting, Outstanding Contemporary Costumes, Outstanding Picture Editing, and just as I mentioned before this, Beef won 3 awards at the Golden Globe Awards, including miniseries or TV film actor and actress in a miniseries or motion picture for TV. And it also won 4 awards at the Critics' Choice Awards on the 14th, including Best Limited Series, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress. So it's just won a series of awards. So it's a really well-made series, although I haven't seen it yet. So you mentioned beef, but we use this expression colloquially, very when you have an issue with someone.
You have a beef with them.
Exactly, right. So it's apparently about 2 strangers who were involved in a road rage incident. And this incident kind of escalates into a prolonged feud. So these 2 people, Ali Wong and Steve Yeun, their characters are in a feud. So they have beef with each other.
그렇죠. 자, 그래서 이 비프라는 게 그런 불만을 얘기하는데 그냥 불만 정도가 아니라 정말 이렇게 화가 날 정도의 불만을 말해요. 그래서 have a beef with someone. 가 반드시 들어가는 이 표현이 나 이거에 대해서 진짜 좀 불만 가득하다라는 뜻인데 우리말로는 이제 성난 사람들 이렇게 번역이 된 넷플릭스 시리즈입니다. 이번에 8관왕을 했어요. 그러다 보니까 또 제목들도 길어서 아까 쭉 나열을 해주시는데 그러니까 지금 여러 가지 상, 뭐 디렉팅, 라이팅, 그다음에 리드 액터가 주연이죠. 리드 액트리스 역시 남우주연상, 여우주연상 다 마찬가지인데 여러 가지 상 중에서 일단은 스티븐 연 씨 정말 너무나 팬이기 때문에 축하드린다는 말씀 드리고 싶고 알리 웡은 Chinese American이죠.
Yes.
어쨌든 아시아계 미국인으로서 이 에미 여우주연상을 받은 최초의 아시아계 여배우가 됐다라는 얘기. 자, 같이 표현 보겠습니다. Take home an award.
Right. So just think of it very literally. If you take home something, it means you bring it home. You bring something home. But here it means to win. So you're bringing home the award. You're bringing home this trophy. So it means to win some kind of award or to get some kind of achievement.
그러니까 상을 집으로 가져온다라고 하잖아요. 여기 써 있기로는 take home an award. 근데 이게 직역을 하는 게 아니고요. 이 표현 자체가 수상하다, 상을 받다라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 메달 받을 때도 마찬가지입니다. 스포츠 스타들 올림픽 때 아무개가 took home the gold medal 이렇게 표현할 수도 있어요. 자, 그래서 이걸 받게 됐다 이런 뜻이고 특히 이제 상, 메달 이런 것들에 대해서 그다음에 Asian descent라는 표현은요?
Right, so if someone is of Asian descent, it means the origin or background of their family or, of a person in terms of their family or nationality is Asian. So, we talked about Ali Wong. I'm a really big, fan of Ali Wong.
She's a comedian.
Stand-up
Yes,
comedian.
very funny.
Stand-up comedian. She's
Yeah.
hilarious. And I remember watching one of her first stand-up comedy stuff. She was pregnant, almost right at the brink of, I think, giving birth. But she's very funny. Anyway, so it means that her family's background is Asian.
Right. Oh, Chinese American이 아니라 her mother is Vietnamese. 아, 근데 아버지는 Chinese American이군요.
So she
그러면
has a lot of mixed heritage.
Vietnamese,
yeah.
Chinese American이네요.
So but it's all Asian. So
그래요.
definitely Asian descent.
오케이, 오케이. 아, 그렇군요. 아, 그렇군요. 발음이 오늘 안 되는 것 같아. 아우, 왜 이러지? 네, 그 알리웡이 이렇게 Asian descent, 아시아계 혈통이다라는 의미고요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Netflix's miniseries Beef has taken home 8 Emmy Awards, including for director Lee Sung-jin and actors Steven Yeun and Ali Wong, who became the first woman of Asian descent to win a lead acting Emmy. And here's our final headline.
Scientists have confirmed that a pair of alien mummies that mysteriously turned up at the airport in Peru's capital last October are in fact humanoid dolls, likely fashioned from both human and animal parts.
지난해 10월에 페루의 수도 리마 공항에서 발견된 의문의 외계인 시신 한 쌍이 학자들의 검토 결과 실은 인간과 동물 조직을 활용해 만들어진 것으로 추측되는 사람 모양의 인형인 것으로 확인됐습니다. Tell us more, Karen.
So it looks like we have been fooled.
Oh dear.
Right. So these quote unquote alien mummies, they say have entirely earthly origins. This is according to scientific analysis that was organized by Peru's culture ministry. These mummies are they have human and animal parts.
Right.
So the experts have ruled out any connection to alien life or that they're extraterrestrials.
외계인 아니다.
Yeah. So they're saying that they're dolls that were made from animal bones from this planet that were joined together with modern synthetic glue. And the two figurines, they turned up at the Lima airport offices in a DHL cardboard box, and they look like these mummified bodies that were dressed in traditional Andean attire. So a lot of media outlets were saying, are these possibly alien? Did they come from another planet? So there was a lot of speculation about that, which is why they carried out this
네.
experiment or conducted tests on it to make sure that they were not from another planet.
Exactly. 조금 전에 캐런 선생님이 그랬죠. 이게 분석을 해보니까 이 뼈가요, 동물 뼈가 이렇게 활용이 됐는데 현대 접착제로 붙어 있었대요. 이게 이제 제일 큰 힌트였던 것 같아요.
Yeah.
요즘의 접착제.
Yeah.
그러니까 일단은 뭐 지구에서 만들어진 접착제고 현대의 그런 풀 같은 접착제니까 뭐 다른 시대, 다른 세계, 뭐 외계의 그런 것이 아니다, 인형이다 이렇게 결론이 났답니다. 그럼 접착제를 영어로는 아까 뭐라고 했었죠? Synthetic glue?
Glue, yes.
Modern synthetic glue?
Yes.
이렇게 표현을 하셨네요. 자, 여기 주요 표현은 turn up입니다.
If something turns up, it appears or it's found. But we use this when something is found, especially by chance,
Right.
or sometimes after something is lost, when something is found.
네. 한참 동안 찾지 못하다가 뭔가를 찾았을 때 turn up 했다라고 얘기할 수 있어요. 그래서 뭔가가 나타났다, 드디어 나타났다의 느낌으로 아니면은 생각지도 못했는데 나타났다. 이럴 때도 쓸 수 있고요. 그런 나타났다가 turn up가 되겠습니다. humanoid는요?
Humanoid is it's like human but not. The emphasis on not. So it means it has an appearance or character that resembles that of a human.
그래요. humanoid라고 하면 인간을 닮은 이란 뜻이죠. 로봇 얘기할 때도 humanoid robot 하면은 인간 모양을 한 로봇.
Yes.
실제로 있잖아요. 참 많죠, 요즘에.
Yeah.
자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Scientists have confirmed that a pair of alien mummies that mysteriously turned up at the airport in Peru's capital last October are in fact humanoid dolls, likely fashioned from both human and animal parts. That's it for the headlines.
The majority of economists surveyed by the World Economic Forum have said they expect the global economy to weaken this year, saying that geopolitical fragmentation around the world will deepen.
세계 경제 포럼의 설문조사에 참여한 경제학자 대다수는 세계 곳곳의 지정학적 분열이 심화될 거라고 진단하면서 올해 세계 경제가 약세를 보일 거라는 전망을 내놨습니다. Tell us more, Paul.
Yes, so the World Economic Forum is going on this week. We already talked about it when I was here on Tuesday. And they've released this survey of 30 chief economists. And they surveyed them last year between November and December. They found that 56% of those questioned expect that the global economy is going to weaken in 2024. 20% think it'll remain unchanged, and 23% are a little more optimistic, forecasting somewhat stronger economic conditions. However, we shall have to see. Respondents were broadly positive when it came to South Asia, East Asia, and Pacific, which is good news for Korea.
For us, yeah.
However, there was a more cautious tone when it came to China. They're only expecting moderate economic growth there. And the big issue is to do with the political rifts around the world. They're expecting the pace of geopolitical fragmentation to accelerate in 2024. 69% of these economists think that's going to happen. The thing is, this year is a big election year. Here in Korea, April is a big election year for us. It's not the presidential elections, but it's an important election. The UK is going to have a general election. The US is going to have their presidential election. In fact, there are over 75 countries heading to the polls this year. So we shall see what that does to us, but certainly it could be, I don't know, worth looking out for what's going to happen in terms of the economy in 2024.
지금 1월 달이다 보니까 이제 올해에 대한 여러 가지 전망들이 나오고 있어요. 지금 이 다보스 포럼, 세계 경제 포럼에서 경제학자들이 설문조사에 참여를 했습니다. 그중에 반 이상인 56%가 앞으로 세계 경제가 더욱 약세로 갈 것이다 라고 대답을 했다 그러고요. 그 다음에는 이제 여러 가지 지정학적인 갈등들이 굉장히 많은데 69%의 경제학자들은 이런 분열이 더욱더 올해는 심화될 것이다 라고 내다봤다고 하네요. 자, some bleak forecasts there, as we can see.
Yes, but relatively positive for us in East Asia.
지역별로 보면은 사실 이제 동아시아, 그다음에 남아시아, South Asia, East Asia, 그리고 Pacific, 태평양 지역은 그나마 그래도 좀 괜찮을 거다라고 했는데 우리 이제 North East Asia 해당이 되니까
네.
저희한테는 그래도 좀 희망적일 수 있지만 전 세계적으로 봤을 때는 약세로 갈 것이다. 자, 반 이상의 경제학자들이 이런 얘기를 했어요. That's the first expression, a majority.
Yes, the majority of something means most of whatever it is. So let's say the majority of people or the majority of economists. We're talking over 50%, meaning more than the other half or the other side of the group. So we talk about a minority and a majority. A majority is going to be the largest group. The minority is going to be the smaller group, the one that is smaller than the majority.
네. majority는 과반이라는 뜻이 있어서요. a majority 아니면 the majority
네.
of 뭐뭐뭐라고 하면은 무언가의 반 이상. 좀 더 자연스럽게 해석을 한다면 대다수라고 할 수도 있어요. 물론 때에 따라서는 이게 51%여도 majority이긴 하니까 그때 컨텍스트에 맞게 해석하면 되겠지만
Yes,
네.
and you can use more casual language if you want.
Yeah.
If you want, instead of saying the majority of economists, you can say most economists surveyed.
sure.
That's a very conversational way of saying the same thing.
그렇죠. Most라는 단어로 대체를 해서 most economists surveyed by the World Economic Forum 이렇게 갈 수도 있습니다. 자, 그 다음에는 geopolitical fragmentation. These are big words here.
Two very long words,
Yes.
yes. Let's deal with the hardest one first. Let's deal with geopolitical. Geo means of the world when we use it as a prefix.
Yep.
And political is about politics. So it's world politics, international politics, political relations between countries, whether that be Korea and the US or France and the UK or Russia and Ukraine, for example. And fragmentation, well, a fragment is a small part of something. So fragmentation is the splitting apart of something. So, for example, if you drop your cup or your plate on the floor, you'll be witness to fragmentation as the little bits and pieces fly this way and that way.
네.
So we're talking about here relationships breaking up and not being as strong as they were before.
That's right. fragmentation이 분열입니다. 이렇게 하나하나 작게 쪼개지는 것을 fragmenting이라고 얘기하는데요. fragmentation 앞에 나온 단어는 geopolitical. geo가 들어간 과목들, 우리 학교 다닐 때 지리는 geography, 지학은 geology. 그런데 여기서 geo가 들어갔으니까 그런 이제 그 땅과 관련된 것이죠. 그 다음에는 이제 political은 정치적이다라는 단어잖아요. 그 두 개가 합쳐지면 이제 지정학적이다가 되는 겁니다. 그래서 그런 지정학적인 분열이 더욱 심화될 것으로 또 예상이 되네요. 아이고. 자, 다시 한번 헤드라인 읽어보겠습니다. The majority of economists surveyed by the World Economic Forum have said they expect the global economy to weaken this year, saying that geopolitical fragmentation around the world will deepen. And let's move on to the second headline.
The government has announced it will implement a public transportation fare discount program dubbed K-Pass in May, enabling cardholders to receive discounts of up to 53% in the form of refunds.
네, 정부가 오는 5월부터 대중교통비 할인 프로그램인 일명 K-패스를 시행한다고 발표했습니다. 이 교통카드를 소지한 사람은 쓴 금액의 최대 53%까지 환급받는 형태로 할인 혜택을 누리게 됩니다. So this is happening sooner than initially expected.
Yes, they've bumped it up by a couple of months, which I think is good news for everyone if you're looking to save some money on public transportation.
Yeah.
So according to the Ministry of Transportation, this K-Pass program is going to offer citizens who use public transport discounts of anywhere between 20 to 53% in the form of a refund. So you won't get it when you buy your ticket, you'll get it afterwards, you'll get your money back. And the idea is, one, help us save a little money because public transportation prices have increased, but also to encourage more of us to leave the car in the garage and to take the bus or the subway.
Yes.
So if you are a card holder of the K-Pass, this new system, and you use city buses or intercity buses or the subway at least 15 times a month, so if you're a regular traveller basically, you're going to get a certain percentage of the money you paid into your fares the following month, and that'll come either in cash or you'll get mileage points, which I guess you'll then be able to use as a card holder.
Right. 자, 이 K-패스 교통카드를 사용하게 되면은요, 일단은 그 교통카드로 다 결제를 하지만 나중에 한 달 후에 이제 환급받는 형태로 할인을 받게 되는 거죠, 결과적으로는. 근데 이제 많이 쓰면 많이 쓸수록 좀 할인율도 높아지고, 그 다음에 이제 여러 가지 그 자격 요건들이 있습니다. 거기에 충족이 됐을 때 최대 53%, 최소 20% 할인 받을 수 있어요.
You or I will get 20%. If you're a young person from 19 to 34, you'll get 30%. And if you're in the low income bracket, you will be eligible for 53%.
Sure.
So it's talking about big discounts, but do be aware it's not going to apply to the KTX or to express buses. So it's only, we're talking about your city buses, your intercity buses and the subway.
Yes. 자, 그러면 첫 번째 표현은요. It is dubbed the K-Pass program, and then you get a K-Pass card.
Yes, well, I think the word dub, when we hear it in Korean, dubbing, we think of a movie being dubbed, meaning it's the audio was recorded in a different language to the original. But here, the term dub, to dub something, means to name it, or to nickname it, or to give it a new name. The example I think of always would have been Queen Elizabeth II, now King Charles. When they knight someone, when they place the sword on the shoulder, they say, I dub thee Sir Paul, for example,
really?
meaning that is your new name. I'm giving you this title.
그래요. 이렇게 불린다. dubbed라고 해요. 그래서 지금 이 새로운 대중교통 할인 프로그램이 K-Pass라고 불린다라는 말을 하고 있는 거죠. 자, 그 다음에 enable someone to do something.
Yes, if we enable someone or something to do something, we allow them to do it, or we help
Sure.
them to do it, or we make it happen for them. I hope I enable our listeners to understand some difficult English expressions by explaining them in an entertaining way.
네, enable A to do B. A로 하여금 B를 할 수 있게 하다라는 뜻입니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The government has announced it will implement a public transportation fare discount program dubbed K-Pass in May, enabling cardholders to receive discounts of up to 53% in the form of refunds.
Drinking 1 glass or more of 100% fruit juice each day is associated with weight gain in children and adults, according to a new study.
매일 한 잔 이상의 100% 과일 주스 섭취가 어린이 및 성인의 체중 증가와 관련이 있다는 새로운 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 이번 연구 결과 같은 경우에는요, 새로 실험을 한 것이 아니라 기존에 있었던 여러 관련 연구들을 분석해서 종합적으로 결론을 내린 그런 연구죠.
Yes, and the main thing is not that you shouldn't be drinking juice. It's about how much juice you're drinking. Because it's all about the sugar. And too much sugar in your blood can lead to things like insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and other things.
Right.
So they're saying that childhood obesity is rising. Dental cavities are also a big problem for kids as well. And they're recommending that just be careful with juice.
Yep.
So if you have a baby that's younger than 12 months, no juice. Just stay away from the juice. If they're 12 to 36 months, just 120 milliliters a day. So we're talking just a little cup of juice. And if they're 4 to 6, only 180 milliliters a day, which is like basically a paper cup of juice, a little paper cup.
자, 제가 종이컵을 하나 가지고 왔어요. 근데 보통 우리가 여기 카메라가 이렇게 하면 잘 보이나요? 왜 식당에서 나중에 이렇게 믹스 커피 같은 거 먹을 때 나오는 요 작은 종이컵, 요 기준으로 봤을 때 이게 180ml거든요.
Which is the recommended amount for ages 4 to 6.
4살에서 6살 아이가 하루에 이 정도가 넘으면 안 된다라는 거죠. 이 정도 이상의 오렌지 주스나 뭐 그런 과일 주스 마시지 않는 게 좋고요. 그 다음에는 이제 1살에서 3살은 이거보다 적은 120ml니까요. 이거보다 적은 양.
Yeah, but I think that the shocking thing for some people will be teens and adults. You shouldn't be
그래요.
drinking more than 240 milliliters of juice a day.
네. 어른 같은 경우, 그러니까 10대부터 이제 어른까지는 하루에 240ml 이상의 이런 과일 주스를 마시지 않는 게 좋다라고 합니다. 이게 체중 증가와 관련이 있다라는 연구 결과가 나왔기 때문에 240ml면은요, 이제 참고로 어떤 커피숍의 그 숏 사이즈 커피에 해당되는 거예요.
And the other issue is going to be if you're actually drinking 100% juice. Because in the UK, for example, we have juice and then we have juice-related products. And if you don't look at the label too carefully, you may not be getting 100% juice at all, which is even worse.
The thing to be careful about here is this doesn't prove that drinking juice will make you gain weight.
No.
It only shows that there's an association between drinking fruit juice and weight gain.
I think one of the issues, certainly in the UK, when I was growing up as well, is we're always told about the 5 a day. Your fruit and veg, that you need to have your fruit and veg. And a lot of people thought, well, I can have it in the juice. But that's not really the case. You need the fiber, you need the actual texture of the fruit and the veg to get everything you need. And it's easy to drink a lot of juice because it tastes better than water. Let's be honest. A lot of people prefer the taste of juice, but water, plain water, is going to be better for us in the long run.
미국에서는 이 오렌지 주스를 그냥 줄여서 OJ라고 부르기도 하는데요. 이런 오렌지 주스만 해당되는 건 아니지만 그런 과일 주스를 이제 많이 마신 사람일수록 또 체중도 조금 많은 경향이 있더라. 그래서 이번 연구 결과는 원인과 결과를 알려주는 결과가 아니고요. 연관성이 있다라는 걸 보여주는 겁니다. 차이가 있죠.
네.
네, 주스를 마시면은 살이 찐다가 아니라 주스를 많이 마신 사람들은 또 역시 과체중도 있더라. 그래서 연관성이 있는 것으로 보이더라. 이런 겁니다. 그리고 조금 더 이제 참고가 되시라고 저희가 이미지로도 보여드릴게요. 아까 제가 카메라로도 컵을 잠깐 띄워드리기는 했었는데 이미지로 보시면은 또 컵이 180mm가 어느 정도인지 이미지가 준비가 여러분 그냥 상상하시면 될 것 같아요. 아시잖아요. 어떻게 생겼는지 종이컵. 그래서 이게 이제 180mm이니까 12개월 미만 아이한테는 그냥 아예 주지 않는 게 좋다고 하고요. 그 이후로도 정말 조금씩. 왜냐면은 한 컵에 또 다시 오렌지 주스 예를 들게요. 한 컵에 오렌지 주스 안에 오렌지 3개의 즙이 들어있대요. 근데 우리가 이거를 정말 1분 안에 다 마시잖아요. 한 컵. 근데 우리가 오렌지를 3개를 1분 안에 꿀꿀꿀꿀꿀 먹지는 않죠. 그러니까 엄청난 그런 sugar level, blood glucose level이 올라갈 수 있다라는 것을 참고해 주시면 되겠습니다.
I think it comes back to that old maxim, everything in moderation. It's nice to have a cup of juice, but just make sure it's the one cup of juice. Or if you want to have a soft drink, just make sure it's just the one soft drink. We could all do with measuring what we eat and drink a little more, perhaps.
네, 그렇습니다. 그래요. 자, 그 표현 바로 보도록 하겠습니다. Be associated with가
But to be linked with doesn't mean it's causing it. It's just there's a connection of some kind.
그래요. 관련이 있다, 연관성이 있다라는 뜻이고 이런 연구 결과에서 사실 굉장히 중요한 단어입니다. 이게 인과관계인지 연관성이 있는 것인지 우리 지금은 후자고요. Weight gain, 체중 증가가 되겠죠.
Yeah, we have weight gain and weight loss. If there's a weight gain, you have increased your weight. If there's a weight loss, you've lost some weight. I'm hoping for a weight loss this year.
Me too. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Drinking 1 glass or more of 100% fruit juice each day is associated with weight gain in children and adults, according to a new study. Moving on, this is our next headline.
Climate change has been chosen as the children's word of the year following a survey by Oxford University Press, underscoring how current events significantly influence children's choices and their language.
네, 영국 어린이들이 뽑은 2023 올해의 단어에 기후변화가 선정됐습니다. 이는 세계 정세가 어린이들의 선택과 언어에 큰 영향을 미치는 점을 보여준다는 분석입니다. 10년 전과 비교를 해보면은요, 2014년에는 아이들이 뽑은 올해의 단어가 minions였대요.
네.
그러니까 정말 그냥 아이들이 제일 많이 생각하는 게 아이들다운 이런 만화 캐릭터였다면은 지금은 기후변화.
Yeah, climate change.
전쟁 이런 단어라면서요?
That's right. So climate change is number one. 33% of children surveyed said that. War came in second at 31%. And coronation, because we had King Charles's coronation at 24%. Of course,
see.
it's Oxford University Press, which is in the UK. If we look at 2020, unsurprisingly, the word for children was coronavirus.
Ah, yes.
And in 2022, the word was queen, because of the 70th Jubilee. So climate change, why have they chosen it? Well, they say it makes them feel scared, it makes them feel sad, it makes them feel worried. And the director of Oxford University Press has said choosing that word shows how willing children are to actually engage with meaningful change. Children are our future, but also they want to make a better future.
네. 그러니까 아이들에게 올해 가장 생각나는 단어가 뭐니? 이렇게 물어봤을 때 기후변화, 전쟁, coronation 대관식은 이제 영국 아이들이다 보니까 영국에서 그 킹 찰스의 coronation이 워낙 큰 뉴스였으니까 그걸 굉장히 많이 들은 거죠. 그러니까 아이들도 뉴스와 이런 시사, current affairs가 시사입니다. 이런 거에 굉장히 많은 영향을 받는다는 것을 또 거꾸로 보여주네요. Let's have a look at the first expression. It's to underscore something.
A similar word is to underline. like when we are highlighting something in a textbook when we're studying, meaning we're emphasizing it. We're showing that this is important. We're spotlighting it.
네, 분명히 보여준다, 강조한다 이고요. 그다음에 significantly influence someone.
Yes, if we influence someone, we have an effect on them. We have an impact on them. We change their behavior or change their thought. And if we do it significantly, it means quite a bit, a lot, very.
누군가에게 중대한 영향을 미치는 것을 significantly influencing someone이라고 합니다. Here's the headline again. Climate change has been chosen as the children's word of the year following a survey by Oxford University Press, underscoring how current events significantly influence children's choices and their language. 자, 이제 마지막 헤드라인 가볼까요?
Retired American wrestler Hulk Hogan has rescued a teenage girl who was trapped in an overturned vehicle after a crash in Florida, according to Hogan's social media posts.
네, 은퇴한 미국 프로레슬러 헐크 호건이 자신의 소셜미디어 게시물을 통해 플로리다에서 충돌 사고 후 전복된 차량 안에 갇혀있던 10대 소녀를 구출했다고 밝혔습니다. Tell us more.
Well, when I was a kid in the 80s, he was seen as the all-American hero.
Yes.
And he's still the all-American hero with what he did. It's quite incredible. They saw this car overturn. They stepped in. He had a pen, a ballpoint pen that he used to stab the airbag so he could free the girl from the upside-down car. This all happened Sunday night in Tampa, Florida. And the girl seems to be okay. She was shocked, she was scared, she was rattled. But thanks to the quick action from Hulk Hogan and his friend Jake Rask, and his wife was also there, it all seems to be fine. So he's retired from wrestling, but he's still a hero.
Yes, and saving lives. Let's have a look at our first expression. This car overturned.
Yeah, meaning it flipped upside down. If something is overturned, it turns the other way up. The word we'll use for a boat, though, often is capsized.
자, 뒤집혔다, 전복됐다. overturned라고 합니다. 이제 배가 전복될 때는 capsized라고 하고요. 두 번째 표현은 social media posts.
Yeah, so these are the public messages we put on SNS, on social networking sites, be it the book or the gram or whatever it is. It's not private messages. These are open to the public for either friends or for everyone to see.
네. 우리가 SNS라고 하는 거 영어로는 social media라고 하죠. 거기 게시물을 올릴 때 post a post라고 할 수 있습니다. 동사도 되고 명사도 되고. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Retired American wrestler Hulk Hogan has rescued a teenage girl who was trapped in an overturned vehicle after a crash in Florida, according to Hogan's social media posts. That's it for the headlines.